Oh, there we go.
Hey crafty friends, welcome back to another DI-try video. I'm going to be trying out a brand new DIY that I've never done before, and today's is pyrography. Pyrography? Burning things. So I'm going to be trying to create some designs on wood using a burning element to kind of etch the design in. So I have this kit. So it comes with everything that you're going to need all in one box, and I mean, now seems a good a time as any to play with fire and burning wood, because I mean, I burnt my arm just recently on my heat tool, I burnt my thumb on my curling iron, so let's hope it doesn't come in threes. So I'll go ahead and open this up and see what's in there. So I have everything out of the box. I've got the instructions. So it explains how to set up the stand, how to change the tip, how you should always keep the tool rested so it's away from your work surface because it will get very hot, how to burn into the wood, and how to use the stencils. Then this is another set of the instructions. I don't need those, I'll keep the English ones. We have a plaque to, I guess, kind of create a design. This is a carbon paper, so this is to help transfer the design onto the wood. Then we have a stencil, this Home Sweet Home, and also an alphabet, so if you want to create something different, and there's a couple words kind of pre-made for you. So I have everything plugged in now, and there is a slight smell as the tool is heating up. I have it plugged into a voltage adapter, so I know that it's perfectly safe, even though I'm in the UK, and this is obviously a US plug. I know that that kind of keeps everything as it should, so I know that the tool is going to heat up properly and it won't kind of get too hot or not function. I have a wet cloth just to wipe the tip. It's going to get like a buildup of wood, or if it gets any kind of buildup of the wood as I'm kind of carving my images, I can just wipe the tip on this cloth and rub away any of the excess because it's going to get really hot and I don't want to burn myself. So one thing that it doesn't mention in the instructions is how long it takes for this tool to heat up. But it's been plugged in for a little while now and I can definitely kind of smell that it has heated up. It's kind of like sometimes if you plug in your straighteners or whatever, you sometimes get that kind of smell, and I feel like I can see smoke, which is somewhat worrying because it's just resting on this stand. So I'm not too sure what's going on with that. I'm definitely seeing smoke just every now and again. You can't really capture it on the camera. Oh, there we go. That's alarming. I haven't touched the wood yet. Ooh. Oh, that smells so good. Hi, it is voiceover Laura here, and I'm going to talk you through what I'm doing on the screen now. So I'm testing out this nib and just applying different amounts of pressure, moving a little faster or a little slower. Now, it stands to reason that the harder you press and the slower that you move, the darker the etching is, because you're kind of burning into that wood much more intensely. Whereas if you just use the very tip and if you move fairly quickly, then it's quite light. You can see I was testing wiping off the end of the tip on that paper. Do not recommend. Not paper, sorry, cloth. Do not recommend. Instead, I read up that actually using a sandpaper can work really well. And I tried that and it definitely worked better. I didn't have any kind of melting of my cloth. So now I felt like I got to grips with the tool. I grabbed some of that carbon paper and the stencils, and it comes with this little wooden dowel, so you can just kind of press through the stencil and create the pattern, and it will leave behind the blue image because of the carbon paper. and I thought I'd start off quite easy with the heart and then also this branch with some of the dots. I figured it would give me a chance to test how easy it is to create curves, as I'd mostly stuck to straight lines, and also to create those small dots or circles for the berries on the branch. So I made a start with the heart, and straight away I realized that it is a lot harder to control the direction that you're trying to go in, rather than just kind of swiping across the wood. So I did find this a little bit more difficult, just to kind of get those curves, any kind of nicks or bumps in the wood. I believe this is balsa wood that was included as the sample, which is a recommended wood to use in these types of projects. And yeah, any kind of like nick or bump, the heat tool kind of wanted to navigate off course and do its own thing completely. So I did find it a little bit more difficult, and you can see I found it difficult to keep my lines a consistent thickness. This is probably something that would just come with practice, in the same way that anything like this, like calligraphy or any type of penmanship, would come with practice. It's also worth pointing out that my penmanship is atrocious, so a lot of this could just be lack of skills on my part, and you might find this really simple and just think that I'm talking crazy. But it's easy to do, but not necessarily super easy to follow an exact pattern in the direction that you're going. Although I did find a bit of a hack that helped with that, and I'll show you that in the next example. So I grabbed a scrap piece of wood that I had lying around. This was actually the lid to a wine crate that was gifted well, it wasn't even gifted to me, it was gifted to Darren, and I just took it. So, and I used the sandpaper just to smooth that out, and then I grabbed a stamp. I decided to use this Vizsla stamp. He has a lovely long tail, but I wanted him to look a little bit more like my Vizsla Dexter, so I didn't ink the tail up fully, so I could just round that off and make it smaller like his tail. So I found this so much easier, and I truly believe it is because of the sandpaper. So that would be the number one thing that I learned here, would be to gently sand down the wood. All of that sanding that you saw me do on the screen is the sanding that I did in real life. So there's nothing kind of, it's not like I spent a really long time doing it. It doesn't take long at all, and it made a huge difference. I also really liked that I could ink up a rubber stamp and stamp that down. You could do it with a clear stamp as well, and then just trace over that image. It just gives a whole plethora of different ways to use your stamps. You could make little wooden Christmas tree ornaments, or you could make little plaques like this of, I chose to go for a pet, but whatever image it is that you wanted to try. And this one's fairly simple. This is one of the Tim Holtz stamp sets, and I'll have links to everything in the description anyway, so do check that out. But it was quite a simple design, lots of kind of straight lines. This one here was a little bit of a curve, but overall it was really easy to follow. Now I did find that it was a little bit light, so once I'd gone over the whole thing, kind of moving very gently and not applying too much pressure, I actually just sanded down again very lightly, just to remove any of the excess ink that was left from where I'd kind of gone off the lines, and then just went over everything one more time to darken it up, and you can see it ended up looking really cute. Dexter, however, was not too impressed and thought it was a snack, so okay, so that is it for today's DI-trY. Overall, I would say pretty hit and miss. It's definitely got a learning curve, and I think having the ability to freehand draw anyway would come in really handy. So my handwriting, my drawing, really not that great, so kind of my general pen control wouldn't be the greatest. Plus, with a tool like this, it's still hot, so I'm just kind of being careful. You're holding all the way back here, whereas when you're drawing, you would be kind of closer to this end here, so you would have more control naturally. So you have less control because you're further away, and also you have kind of the wire to contend with as you're working, so that can be a little bit difficult. This is definitely a lot of fun though, and I think towards the end, particularly this one here, my little kind of Dexter Vizsla, was probably the best that I did. I mean, his eyes, they're supposed to be a little bit crazy, but they are completely crazy. And I think it looks really cool. It was a lot of fun. I am sure I made 1,000 mistakes, so if you've tried this and you have any tips, feel free to leave them for me in the comments section. If you haven't given this a try and you see one of these sets, pick it up, give it a go. It's a lot of fun and you might have better success than I did. And I will see you next time. On screen right now is a link to another video that I think you might enjoy, as well as my DI-trY playlist, so you can go and check out some of the other DI-trys and see if you get inspired to try something new. If you haven't already subscribed, I would love to have you go ahead and tap on the logo on screen right now or click the subscribe button to be notified. Thanks so much for joining, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.